Welcome to Assembly Calendar. I'm Mike Friesen. With us for our program today, Assemblyman Brian Curran. Brian Curran represents the 14th Assembly District in New York State, an Assembly District that includes parts of Nassau County. Thanks to you folks all across the region for joining us. Brian Curran, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Mike.
Lots of news to get caught up on here at the state capitol. Since the last program like these that we taped with Brian Curran, the New York State budget got passed for the fiscal year 2012-2013. That is of huge significance to you folks that are watching this program. How will that budget impact you? That information coming up in just a couple minutes. But we're going to start with a few fun events that took place around the 14th District recently. Brian Curran, you held with a colleague of yours, Assemblyman Ed Rah, a jobs fair in your area. That's not an insignificant thing considering the way the economy's been and the way people are in the market, literally, right, for jobs right now.
Right, Mike. It was we held the job fair. It was at Molloy College. The job fair was open to everyone. We had over 75 employers there who was looking to hire people, which is the most important or best kind of job fair you can have. We took a different slant on this job fair, but Mike, we actually geared it towards unemployed veterans because the post 9/11 veteran unemployment rate is so high as compared to the regular unemployment rate. So although it was open to everyone, we also made it clear to employers the benefits in employing unemployed veterans, such as the job tax credits, Welcome Home Heroes tax credit. So it was a great success. We had approximately between 750 and 1,000 people attend the jobs fair, and it was a great success.
When we were promoting this, I remember looking at the list of potential employers that were going to be there, and it was a who's who of Nassau County employers. I mean, you had the local sports teams, you had the utilities, you had the colleges. I mean, you had a huge list, and we're going to show some pictures now of some of the people that were there, but it was quite a turnout.
We did. We had a great turnout, and even more importantly, we actually had, like I said, employers there who actually were employing people, and that's the best type of job fair. You see in photographs right now, here's one lady who was actually speaking to the Long Island Railroad and the MTA on an application that she had previously submitted, and she was waiting for a call back, so we're hoping that she got a job out of the fair. These are actually all of the veterans from the East Rockaway Post who came down to support the event. Since it was geared towards veterans, they helped me get the word out. And this is one of the employers, the EAC, who was also at the jobs fair. And again, we had over 75 to 80 employers there. So it was a packed house for all throughout the Molloy College Center.
You had big box stores there, the Home Depot. I mean, you start naming names, you leave people out, so exactly. I shouldn't start. But it was, the list was just gigantic. I couldn't believe all the people. And when you told me that all these entities were actually hiring, I mean, what a wonderful opportunity to bring it all together in one place and sort of create a one-stop shopping, give people options to find out more about the different career paths that maybe were in front of them, but even just to, start some dialogue and communications between potential workers and potential employers.
Mike, for example, we had a new a business out of Freeport. It was a web TV business that was looking to hire 200 salesmen that day. He came up to me, he says, listen, Brian, I was excited about this jobs fair. I came here. I have 200 sales positions that we want to fill today. That's what we want to do. Listen, our job as state legislators is to make sure that we create the condition for this state to succeed economically, and that means jobs for people. But it's not only our work to do it up here, but also down in the district. And the jobs fair is one way to actually help people directly get jobs, and we were happy with the jobs fair itself and the success of it.
Yeah, I would think so. And of course, the month of March doesn't go by without a St. Patrick's Day parade
Absolutely.
Or two or three or four to hook up with.
Mike, one of the most holiest days of days.
Tell us what we're looking at here.
We are actually looking at the Grand Marshal for the Raffle Center Parade, Kathleen Altencock, and it was a great day. Raffle Center is probably hosts the largest and in my opinion the best St. Patrick's Day on Long Island, and it's a fun day, and I've been doing it as long as I can remember, since I've been young. So it's a great parade. I have to compliment Mayor Murray of Raffle Center on doing a great job in organizing it and running it.
And since the last time you were here, folks may notice that the hair's a little different. You've styled it just a little bit differently, and of course that's an annual event for you to have that happen.
Yes, Mike. You know what? Every single year for the last 8 to 9 years, I've participated in an event called St. Baldrick's. And for anybody at home that doesn't know what St. Baldrick's is, St. Baldrick's is a children's cancer charity where people go and they have their heads shaved for donations. And I have to just tell you real quick, this foundation was started by 3 local gentlemen, one being a very good friend of mine, John Bender from Rockville Center. It was 3 guys sitting around one night after playing a round of golf, decided, listen, we're doing very well in our insurance business, let's try to give back. They created this St. Baldrick's, and for 10 years now, they've raised over $100 million in children's cancer research. So anybody that says that one person or a few people can't make a difference, well, this is one example of somebody making a difference. And it's been my pleasure to actually participate this in the last, I think it's either 8 or 9 years consecutive. We raised some money for the foundation. And as my wife says, it keeps growing back, but it grows back a little bit slower every year. But as long as it comes back, Mike, that's all that matters. And it's a great foundation. I look forward to doing it every single year.
Well, it takes a brave individual, I think, to go through that, especially one who's in the public eye. I mean, there's not something insignificant about that, I would think, for somebody who, you know, is important, that you kind of want people to know who you are when they see you and all that.
You want to know something funny? When I actually ran for mayor, the first year, it had come up, and it was right around the election time in March, and this is always done in March. And one of these political figures that are above me actually says, you can't do that this year. You can't, you know what, you're an elected official. And, you know, listen, I respect and understand what their opinion was, but the bottom line is, I love doing this. This is who I am, and we're going to continue to do it, even to the day that it stops growing.
Well, it'll be hard. If it stops, it would be hard to do it the next year. But I'm sure you'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll do something. We'll get one of my boys to do it.
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll save this piece of tape for them. Right? A terrific event, a terrific cause, and all the best to the folks at St. Baldrick's and the charity. Now, we have more local events to show you here. You're going to see some Easter baskets coming up that'll knock your socks off. But first, let's get to some of the news of the day here at the state capitol, and that's the passage of the state budget. As I said, that is of supreme importance to all New Yorkers because it impacts all New Yorkers in a number of different ways. Brian Curran, what do you say when you meet up with people who ask about the budget? A lot of people want to know about it being on time and the way the legislature is getting along with the governor here, which I think right now is pretty good at the state capitol. But how will this budget impact the people you represent?
Well, let me say, Mike, you know, we have to start off with what you just referenced. This budget was for the second year in a row on time, and in fact this year it was actually early for the first time in 29 years. So, and to the people at home, a lot of people may be saying, well, that's your job. And you're right. That is our job, to get the budget passed on time. Unfortunately, before I got up here, it wasn't getting done. So even though it seems something that should have been going on in the first place, but it is an accomplishment.
Good work to you to straighten things out when you got here.
Listen, I have to tell you something.
We needed that.
I have to tell you something. I'm going to compliment him a lot during this little segment. Dean Skelos is a huge reason. I know the governor's doing a great job, and he gets all the accolades and the credits, but the guy who really, I believe, in my opinion, has made this work with the governor and with the assembly is Dean Skelos, and leading the Senate Republicans. I think he's done a great job. But with regards to the budget, Mike, it was a good budget. You know why? Because, one, we dealt with a $3 billion deficit that we were facing without raising broad-based taxes or fee increases, which is very important. It was something that I ran on, and it was something that was important to the Assembly Republicans. But also, one of the major issues for my area was school aid. Listen, we instituted the tax cap last year, forcing school districts to now operate under a different fiscal mentality and arena. And we have to actually support them, help them out with additional school aid. Now, the original formula for school aid is adverse to schools in Nassau and Suffolk. Listen, the old adage is we never get our fair share. We educate 17% of the kids, and we only receive 12% of the aid. And they're right, and that's unfair. But what we were able to do in the Republican Assembly, but even more importantly, what Senator Skelos and Senator Fischilla was able to do on the Senate side was they were able to go back after the governor's budget and get additional monies for our schools in Limbrook, Valley Stream, Rockville Center, Baldwin, Oceanside, Malvern, East Rockaway. They got and brought back over $2.5 million in additional aid for those school districts. That's what is important to the people in my district, and I was happy to say that we were able to do it. That was on top of very good news that we got just before the passage of the budget, that each of my districts in my area received either a $50,000 or a $75,000 state grant per school district for this current year, which just helps them with it's found money, and it's good that we were able to get that for them. But in other areas, we also increased aid for community colleges, kids going to Nassau Community College, along with helping seniors out with the EPIC funding. We supported libraries this year for the first time in 8 years, in that we gave them an increase of $3 million. We did what we had to do, and what we did was we took the money that we had and we prioritized where we wanted to spend it, instead of just going out and raising the taxes on the people. That's what was so impressive about this budget, not only because it was on time, but the priority spending was there, and that's what I think.
And in the macro picture of state budgeting, this budget continues that idea of reducing deficits and reducing growth in spending and sort of reining in the rather out-of-control spending that this New York State legislature had been known for.
Yes, what I've been telling people, and I went around to all of the school districts and spoke to a lot of different town hall meetings on this, is that the books of the state, we came in here last year, it was $10 billion in the hole. This year it was $3 billion in the hole. Next year, barring any unforeseen problems, it should be only about $170 million. In our budget, that's really nothing. So we're getting our books cleaned up. So it's brighter days ahead, Mike.
I promised pictures of Easter baskets,
yes.
Brian Curran. So we only got a couple minutes left of the show. We're going to get to some of these. Why Easter baskets? Why are we looking at all these?
Mike, listen, here's the thing. Easter season's a very special time for everybody in my district, and you know, one of the things that come to symbolize the Easter season is Easter baskets. And unfortunately, because of the fiscal times that we find ourselves, there's a lot of kids out there that won't be getting them. So we wanted to actually give out these Easter baskets to kids that really need them. And we had fantastic donations by a lot of organizations, Girl Scout troops, Walmart donated 50, Stop and Shop donated 50.
Right here we're looking at.
We actually got that to St. Christopher's, St. Vincent's de Paul. We gave them, I believe, about 20 baskets for kids in Baldwin. That's Monsignor Camp in the photograph, along with the head of the St. Vincent de Paul food pantry.
All right.
Also, that's at the Martin Luther King Center in Rockville Center. We gave them about, I believe, 30 baskets for that area. That is the Freeport School, Bayview School. We gave it to, I believe, the 4th grade.
Bayview Elementary.
Yep.
What a turnout that is. And they all look so happy to be helping out and being a part of this thing.
Yes. We went, the biggest part of, and this is why it started, was that we wanted to get these Easter baskets to the pediatric units at the two hospitals in my area. That's Mercy Hospital and South Nashua. This one is a photograph of Mercy Hospital, a pediatric unit there, and that's one of the girls that we gave, little girls that we gave the basket to.
And a really big bunny was right alongside.
Yeah, you know what? And we gave about 25 to 30 baskets out at Mercy. This is,
I think that's the Hispanic
Brotherhood in Rockville Center. Margarita Grazing actually is the head of that group, very nice lady, and we gave them about 30 baskets. And then lastly, this is South Nassau Communities Hospital, again the pediatric unit. We gave them about 40 baskets. In all, Mike, we gave out a little bit over 200 baskets, and again, I can't thank Walmart, Stop and Shop, all the organizations and businesses and individual families that came in and donated those baskets. You know what? They just symbolized the season, and they did a great job.
Job well done, and we are out of time. Brian Curran, we'll be talking more about the state budget and its impact and what's left for the rest of this 2012 state legislative session. Next time we see you here, we want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you folks, too, for spending your time, and we hope that you'll be joining us as well. That'll be for our upcoming edition, very next edition of Assembly Calendar.